Hey, what's happening guys, Chris here, and so is that Black Ops 3 Awakening DLC. I'm going to go over its maps in a fair bit of detail in a few of these videos, and I thought I'd start off with the wackiest one, and probably my favourite of the bunch, which is the map Splash. It's a medium-sized map, which is basically set in an abandoned water park called Hydro Paradise in the southeast USA. And it's safe to say that the map looks like it should be owned by Disney. It's one of Treyarch's signature wildcard maps that stands out from the crowd, as it's the most vibrant and brightly coloured out of the four in the Awakening DLC, and it contrasts well with some of the more darker, industrial looking maps in the base game. Plus it also features bulletproof inflatables. A lot of people were a bit worried that Splash was going to end up being too similar to the abandoned aquarium map which is already in Black Ops 3, but I can safely say that it's completely different. So Splash follows the typical 3-lane pattern, and each lane has its own separate unique area. The lane at the bottom of the map is a ride called the Atlantis Riptide, which is basically a lazy river, rapids type path that's shallow enough to walk through. It's quite an open area with only a couple of floating rafts there to use as cover, so you'll need a quick trigger finger if you don't want to get caught out here. Because it's a lazy river, it's a narrow winding path that connects both ends of the map together, making it an easy way to get to the other side. Though the central lane is where most of the action takes place, with quite a lot of entrances and windows that overlook it. To access that central lane, if you spawn in at the park entrance on the left side of the map, you'll first have to enter either the Kraken's Revenge, which is a massive pirate ship that's being torn apart by a bright pinky purpley looking Kraken. Inside here is a kid's playroom that overlooks the middle part of the map. Though you can also access the middle on this side by walking through a door next to the entrance of the Kraken's Revenge, and walking upstairs to find a big blue tunnel in the wall, overlooking the entire left side of the central area. But it's really open here and there's no cover to use, so I wouldn't suggest hanging around here for too long. But if you choose to walk past the blue tunnel, you'll enter another room with a huge hole in the wall, and that acts as an entrance to the lazy river area. So as you walk into the middle part of the map, not only are you going to get drenched from all the water shooting cannons, but you're also likely to be wasted by all the bullet shooting enemies, as there's quite a few areas and windows here that join the map together. From the various slides and tunnels that can be used for flanking, to the doorways and openings from each side of the map. Now even though Splash is a water park, this is the only area in the map that you're going to be able to actually swim. There's a sneaky route offset to the central area where you can flank and get the drop on enemies coming from the other side. Though there's also a secret underwater tunnel here that takes us back to the aquapad area at the side of the park entrance. Now moving into the third lane at the top of the map. This leads us into a beach-like area called Skull Bay, featuring a smuggler's bar, complete with bottles of rum and a shitload of tips. And Skull Bay also has its very own out-of-bounds swimming pool, that somehow causes you to die if you decide to go for a paddle. The beach is quite open and has quite a lot of open sightlines, catering for weapons that are good with range. There's a huge skull carved into the rock wall along the side of the area, and here you can walk right into its mouth to find more rooms loaded with skeletons and treasure. And you'll also reach a window at the end that overlooks the entire middle part of the map, which is a great place to take out anyone dashing out of those tunnels and entrances. But backtracking back to Skull Bay, you'll be able to see two other entrances that both join together and meet in a tunnel, taking you to the right side of the map. Once you exit the tunnel, there's a few snack stands dotted around here to block lines of sight, but if you wander off into the building on the left, you'll enter the gift shop, cause you know, every water park has to have a gift shop. This then leads into a cafe which takes us to the far right side of the map, to an area called Market Town. And just like the park entrance, this is also a main spawn point. But going straight forwards from Market Town towards the centre of the map, you can go into a building with a load of slides flowing out of it. You'll go up some stairs and into an area that has another one of those open tunnels that overlooks that middle section once again. But as an alternative route to get back into that central area, you can run through an arch next to the building, around the corner, and under the slides to get there just as easy, using the bins as cover. Now, even though Splash might seem like an off-the-walls crazy style map, it's actually structured fairly similar to older COD maps on previous games, as it doesn't really take full advantage of some of Black Ops 3's new mechanics. There's only one fairly small area that lets you swim. There's hardly anywhere on the map to pull off crazy wall running moves, though I guess there are a few places that are a lot easier to access using thrust jumps. With Splash being a medium-sized map, the action flows steadily. There is quite a lot of close to medium range areas here, so assault rifles and SMGs are welcome. Though there aren't many long range sightlines apart from the bay area and a few windows overlooking the centre, but even these aren't exactly long range. Splash is a quirky, colourful map that feels like a nice change from the norm, and it's definitely one of Treyarch's less gritty, playful maps that helps brighten the game up. So that's the splash map in the Awakening DLC. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Give me a like if you did, and subscribe to see loads more gaming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.